we'll start. Everyone, we're going to talk a bit about real-time Phoenix stuff and build upon what Casper was talking about with gen servers, and I'm going to use gen servers with via tuple, so you can have string names. But before we get into the code, I'll set the stage and we'll do a demo of the app first and then talk about how it works afterwards. So the idea behind this app is it's a pretend registration app for summer camps. So anyone who has kids knows that it's a pain to register your kids for summer camps because the camps fill up, and it would be really nice if the web apps gave you feedback when a camp was filling up and who was looking at the camp to see how popular it was. So this app is just demo. It's not like, it doesn't comply to any privacy regulations or anything like that. But it's just to show off the real-time features of Phoenix. So this app is called RegMe, for Register Me. And the first thing we're going to do is create a camp. And when you create in this app, when you're creating a camp, there's no database behind it. So we're just creating a gen server to hold the state for the camp. And then the registrations will interact with that gen server and find out how many people are registered, what the capacity is, that kind of thing. So we'll call it swim camp week 1. Okay, let's create a couple of these. Elixir camp. Elixir camp week 6, because there's so many of them. Anyway, so we've got a few camps here. Now I'll open up incognito window. Okay, so here's me as I'll put a couple of in here. Here's me pretending to be different families trying to register. So we have the Jones family, and we have the Warren family. And so when the users log in, they find out what camps are being listed. We just looked at them. And when one of the families goes to look at the camp, you notice on the bottom screen the views of that camp turned up. So, and if we go back to the list of camps for the Jones family, see the bottom screen will show that there's no one watching there anymore. And so that's presence in action, and PubSub communicating the differences between the two things. So if we go to this camp and we want to register some people, we register kids, and you see at the bottom the capacity and the registration shows up automatically. And this is really, really, to me, it's magic. I love this. And
without JavaScript, right?
Without JavaScript.
Awesome.
And
There's JavaScript under the hood.
and fair notice, all of this app was done with Cloud Code. So I just told it what to do and made sure it was on the right track. And if we want to register the Warren family for the Elixir camp, we can go ahead and do that. And they're a big family. And Then if the Jones family wants to register for the Elixir camp, they can go ahead and do that. And you see now that there's the two families viewing the camps, right? So all of that is all synchronized between the two things. So one more piece here. Just so you see the debugging. So let me get this onto a different window. So this is a debugger that will show you all of the communication that's happening between the different processes. And so there's a couple of things. We talked about the name registry earlier with Casper's presentation. So when a new camp is created, that gen server gets registered through the registry, and we'll see that happen here. So I'll go back to the admin page. I'll try to. Oh, here it is. Okay. My screen is not big enough. This was a lot easier on two monitors. So, oops, it's not going to work. Okay, here we go. So, so if we create a camp, so we see here that a gen server was initialized, a PubSub message was broadcast from the gen server, and the camp was registered in the registry. And the key thing with this app is it was registered using a string. So it just used the ID of the camp that was randomly generated by the app. So it's technically an integer, but it's actually treated as a string. So there's no concern. If you have an app that generates a lot of gen servers like this that you have to reference again, you don't have to worry about atom exhaustion, because you use this thing called the via tuple to reference your gen server process again. So that's the app and how it works. And well, I should show you a few more communication pieces that would actually be smart. So when we're the Warren family in this window, and when the Warren family leaves this this camp to go back to the camp list, you'll see at the bottom, you'll see nothing. You should have seen something. Demos, yay. Oh, here we go. So here the Warren family joined the camp, and presence took over, and they registered their presence by going to that live view page, and we saw the communication between the two processes. And presence communication happens through handle info. It's just a handle info message, a special type of handle info message. Okay? So let's go to the actual presentation. Oops. Okay. So the architecture of this app, it has four primary things: a gen server, the registry, PubSub, which is Phoenix PubSub, and presence. And the gen server basics, Casper's already gone over these, so we won't expand on them too much. Each gen server has state. There's message passing with call and cast if it's async. And these gen servers are dynamically supervised because we don't know how many camps are going to be added to the app. So when the gen server is initialized, it gets the camp attributes, and then it handles the handle calls for register and that sort of thing. So this is just pseudocode. And with the registry, what happens is the registry just maps the string keys to the PID of the gen server. That's really all it's doing. And so you don't have to use atoms. And so registry is just a module, and you can look up the processes that are registered within the registry. So through registry lookup, and this is just a convenience function. With PubSub, you get that for free with a Phoenix application, and you just have to make sure it's started in your supervisor at your application level. And let's go next. So the way the communication happens in the app and through PubSub, so in this case, the communication starts at the camp gen server. So when you create a new camp, the new gen server is created, and that's where PubSub communication starts. And in this app, we have a generic topic of camps. So that can broadcast that a new camp has been added to the catalog or a camp has been removed from the catalog. And we have specific topics of the camp ID. So it would be camps, camp ID for the specific topic of something happening like a registration for a specific camp. So it's just examples of broadcasting, receiving a broadcast. So when we navigated to a camp detail page where you saw different families looking at the same camp, when that live view mounts, it subscribes to the topics of the camp. So the camp topic and the camp ID topic. So that happens in the mount function of the live view. And then to receive the broadcast, it has to have a handle info callback within the live view. And then what the gen server does is when state changes within the camp, then it broadcasts the PubSub message out, and either over the general topic or the specific topic for the camp. So here's the flow essentially. User clicks register in the camp. The live view calls the gen server. The camp server updates the state with the number of people that were registered, and then the camp server broadcasts that there was a state change in that camp, and then the live view receives that update and handles that and updates its assigns and UI. And this pattern is super helpful for everything in LiveView because if you have a synchronous call in LiveView, then you block the UI, and then that's bad for the user. And so if you can use handle info and send your work out to tasks or whatever, and that way your UI isn't blocked. So if you have a long-running process, long-running database query, that's one way of handling the blocking of the synchronous call. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? And finally, presence tracks processes. Okay, that's really what it does. And so every live view is a process, and if you use presence to track like logins for people, what will end up happening, and you'll have to handle this in your app, is that every tab your logged in user opens on their browser becomes a new process, and you get a presence message that that person is present. And so you have to handle all the duplicate presences, I guess, for that single user. And so how do I know that? So in your presence module, You need to use the presence behavior and the callbacks for that. And these callbacks this is just basically from the Phoenix docs. So if you look at the docs, you'll have the code. So presence is built on PubSub. It's CRDT based, and so it handles conflicts for you across nodes, but I'm not very familiar with that, so don't ask me any questions. It automatically cleans up things if a process dies. So if a user has multiple tabs open, they close a tab, that's a process dying. Presence manages that for you. And you can attach metadata to presence so that you can keep track of a small amount of state if you choose to. And so in the live view, to track presence, you subscribe to the presence topic. It's basically like PubSub. It uses PubSub. And that tells the presence module or the presence gen server that you're interested in that topic and you've arrived at that topic. And so it monitors your PID. And then what happens is the presence module, presence behavior, broadcasts out a join message. And so every subscriber to that topic gets the join message, and then it can decide how to handle that. So in the case of the live views where you saw the families being added to the detail page of the camp, where there was 2 families in that was the live view receiving a presence message and saying, here's the people who are present on this live view page or this particular camp. So what's the presence message flow? People join the presence flow. So when, as we just said, when a family went to a camp, the live view hooks into the presence, and then the live view receives the join message, all the live views that are connected to that presence topic, and then the UI can be updated. And when the user leaves, the live view process terminates, and presence detects the process death, and then there's a leave message that comes from presence to all the live views. So the gen server holds the camp state. The registry maps the IDs to the PIDs. PubSub does all the communication, and presence monitors which process is involved or watching each piece. So under the try it, we did the try it first. So we don't have to do that again, but there's lots of references for that, and most of these are the hex docs references, but there's one from Kobraki, who breaks down the layers of real-time communication, the registry, presence, PubSub, etc. So that's it.
I was just kind of thinking of this, like, for almost like a use case for, say, like a Twitch stream where you have like thousands of people currently watching and getting like the viewer count for that. So let's say you get a bunch of viewers coming in, and then it has to broadcast that out to everyone to show that as well. Is it sending, like, that broadcast, is it constantly sending those out, or does it batch them all, whatever, at a certain amount to send them out?
I don't know the frequency, but I believe it's every change.
Okay.
But it only broadcasts the diffs.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't broadcast the full list every time.
Okay.
And so you'll get the joins and the leaves.
Mhm.
You won't get the list.
Okay. Nice.
Kevin?
Another annoying comment that I forgot to see on Casper's, but it applies to yours as well, is that for people that aren't in the know, handle info is doing the same thing that receive does for a process.
Yep.
So if you just chuck a message at a process and it happens to be a gen server, then you want to receive it in handle info. So you'll see this as sort of a pattern of, like, say, if you wanted to build a gun implementation, so gun meaning there's a library that's like HTTP client. If you wanted to wrap gun, then you basically have to receive guns processes in your thing, and you would do that in handle info. So that's something that, you know, is handy to know, is that effectively they're kind of the same thing. And then handle call and handle cast are a layer on top of handle info.
Do you mind hopping back to your present setup for a sec? Number 11.
I can actually show you the code. It's,
I've played with this once and I can't quite remember it, but like you when you start up presence for a new live view, you're kind of getting the full list of current people who are present, and then like you said, then you've got this handle metas that gets the joins and leaves, and you have to kind of merge those together.
right,
Every time you get one of those.
yes.
Okay, so you're kind of hanging on to a full list of.
Within the process that where you're interested in that list.
Right. So back to the Twitch stream, you're kind of holding on to a whole bunch of these things, potentially, if you're dealing with that many.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can use, in LiveView, you can use streams, and so the data is on the client. It's not on the server. Anything else?
Let's play more of this. It's so magical, like you said.
To me, this is, oops, not messages. We don't want that. Oops. So you have to add your presence module into your application layer, and then wherever that is. And I can share this code too in the Discord. It's not a problem. I don't have it posted anywhere yet, but so these are just convenience functions for the app to manage presence. But anyway, I'll let the other Kevin take over.
Okay.
Mm.
So you guys have been sitting for a little while. If you want to go grab a beer or whatever.